look at it. Of course, I want our club to win, and I could go gung ho, but I'm a superstitious asshole, and I kind of, if I think to myself that if I'm going to say that we're going to win, we never do. So I'm just going to preserve my my own sanity and also my stress levels by just saying, look, no chance today, and been proved right, recently.
Yeah, I know. So overall, Lee, what did you think of the second half? Because that was a car crash, wasn't it?
Yeah, like you, I thought we might have something going in the first half, but it was really, I know it's the cliche, the game of two halves, but we just looked like we're just full of fear.
Yeah,
and we'd gone 1-1. We sat off.
Yeah.
I don't know who is to blame for this. I mean, obviously, Jose's blaming the players. The players work to his instruction. But what is at the root of this consistent sitting off all the time and slowing down and falling back when clearly our best form of defence is attack.
Yeah, it so is. And if you give players like Pogba and Fernandes space, they absolutely love it.
That's they did. They just run through you. They just knock it past you, and we're just static all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, the goals that we conceded were dreadful. Again. So, and we look good going forward because that's, that's our strength.
Yeah.
So we play to that. And then we all defend as a team. But why on earth do we just become consumed with fear? Now, I know there's a couple of reasons possibly why. And one of them may be to do with the fact that they fear getting criticised and they worry about what's going to be said afterwards by Mourinho or by others. And they and revert to defence mode, but I'm not that sure that is the case. I think I don't know if they know really what their job is at times.
Yeah, you do have to wonder.
You might be right on that.
Yeah,
you might be right on that. Yeah,
I'm just wondering. Sorry, Steve, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, on that point, what Lee was saying, about the fear. We have discussed it on the pod a couple of times, but we know that Mourinho always highlights what could go wrong. Make sure, be aware that this could go wrong. If you don't do this, that could go wrong. That's a problem. That could be an issue, rather than kind of, telling them what their strengths are and playing up their strengths. And as you say, attack is the best form of defence for any team, really.
Yeah.
That's not just us, but for any team. But we also happen to have a really good attack. So, you'd think he'd want to sort of to play to that. And he sets his team out with that in that manner. So
yeah, he totally does. Yeah, he does. Yeah.
And he kind of, when he made that first substitution and he brought on Sissoko, that's kind of going back to a more structured Mourinho structured team. With two holding midfielders to try and give us a better balance. It was kind of annoying to see that change being made, but by the same token, you kind of understood that change, but wondered why we don't. Personally, I don't understand why we don't start that way, because we've, when we were winning, that's how we were playing. We had that balance in the team when we were winning, like all the time, and he's kind of sacrificed that because he wants both Lo Celso and Dembele in the on the pitch at the same time. So I kind of wonder if this is our Gerrard and Lampard conundrum, where
they just don't work
for England, where the manager's doing his best to get them both on the pitch at the same time, when actually don't just make a decision, make a choice. One of them is your player, and go with that one.
Yeah. The other thing is, I know, everyone's going to say, or not everyone, but people are going to say, well, they're paid lots of money, they're professional, they should be able to just get on with it. And there is an element of that, not to take it too personally, to look at it, this is what the team needs, etc. But that does take a certain kind of mindset. And these are young men. And I think sometimes we probably have to sort of take into consideration that as a human being, all of us really don't like criticism, especially public criticism. If my boss did that to me, and Paul, and just in front of everybody said out loud what my faults are, she'd be there for a long time for starters. But it'd be, but I wouldn't take to it kindly.
No,
even though I could
humiliating.
Yeah, it would. I mean, I could process it, and I would probably say I'm going to prove you wrong. But having said that, it would be. And then every time afterwards, I'll be second guessing myself.
Yes.
I'll be thinking, what does she want?
Yeah.
What do I need to do to please her, or to make things that I'm not going to get that again in front of everybody? And they're no different, surely no different. I mean, I know they get paid a lot, but that's because they're good at what they do.
I don't think that makes any difference how much you're paid. You're still going to be a human being, and you're going to have emotions the same way. Money doesn't remove that, does it? Mm-hmm. So, Well, I don't have anything else to say about the game because I don't really want to talk about it, to be honest. I'd rather we moved on to other points that are far more interesting.
Before we move on, I mean, I think there are still stuff we should discuss. I think, you mentioned about Rodon starting, and I totally agree. But I just don't understand, and I think Sarah mentioned about the whole, the Twitter meltdown about the starting lineup and with Dyer back in there, for example. I don't understand what Toby's done to have been dropped. I don't know if we cover it in general points or what, but part of our issue, a massive part of our issue, is that I think this is something we discussed in the past, but he just keeps changing partnerships, changing players, changing partnerships. Nothing's settled.
Because the problem is with Mourinho, he's a risk-averse manager. So as soon as we start making mistakes, or a player starts making mistakes, he has to bin them off. He doesn't want to risk that player anymore. So
that's a massive risk. That's not risk-averse, is it? Because the partnership that might have potentially been building has just been broken, and you have to restart and rebuild another partnership. So that's not risk-averse. That's
I think it is risk-averse because Mourinho's normally used to having centre-back pairings that do exactly what he wants them to do. And he doesn't have that at Spurs. So he's always switching them around. He's trying to find the best. It's insane. But I think
it's taken him a long time to find it. And that's the thing. Is how many rotations do you need? And clearly Toby's our best defender. He's the captain of his country, for goodness sake. But there is something there that he fell out with Pochettino, and Pochettino didn't want him around.
Yeah.
And he seems to have done the same here with Mourinho. What is that? Is there something to that as a team member? Does he? I mean, I know they've got the Belgians have often fallen out with each other, and in one World Cup they fell out, didn't they? And I don't know if that's a trait.
Certainly the Dutch did. I didn't know the Belgians.
Oh, there's a Dutch, wasn't it? Sorry,
yeah. But I
I
don't
wonder
know
if Toby, if he says it how it is, because we've been defensively shoddy for a long time, and if he just keeps saying it how it is and just saying, well, look, it's clearly not working. I can tell you why it's not working, but why are you not listening to me? You keep pointing at us, but Jesus, as we keep saying, you're the coach. You're meant to make them better players. Mm-hmm. That's what you are paid to do. And I think, we've said on several occasions, who's really got better? Well, okay, Harry has, but he's done that for the last 7 years without decent managers. That comes from within him. Aurier for about a month.
Hold on. You just said Harry got better for the last 7 years without decent managers.
No. What I'm saying is he's done that. He's done that himself, and he has done that with Pochettino. But it takes as good as he is now. It takes that special drive inside someone to do that, and we're so lucky to have him.
100%.
His hunger is unmeasurable. It's if he wasn't at Tottenham, if he was at United or Chelsea, they'd be singing his praises, but he's got a Tottenham shirt on, and they just want to talk dirty to him. Not in a good way.
I mean, I've had students over the years that have been the type of people that will just come up to me and say, "What do I have to?" I literally, I don't have to do much apart from just the odd, guide here, push that way, a little bit of advice. They do it themselves. That sort of student is going to be your top high flyer who is so self-motivated. That's Harry Kane. whoever the manager is, he's just looking for a little bit of this, a little bit of that. The rest he will do himself.
Yeah.
In terms of being motivated to keep going out there and practicing all of his weaknesses, strengthening up certain points. Some just don't have that.
And that's right.
And
the other 32
life.
players in our squad.
Yeah. Totally.
But we do seem to have amassed quite a few of those types, and part of what Mourinho is saying is right, that we do have a lot of types that really aren't there, don't have that mentality that we need, and we've known that for a while. But he should, with what we've got, be getting better out of them.
Agreed.
Yep, I think so.
It's because they don't want to play for him, in my opinion. I'm not really someone who says that very often, but they clearly don't want to play for him. These players are good enough to be inside that top four, and I think I feel a bit sick even thinking it. But
I know
the job West Ham have done this year with the players and the squads that they've got. Don't tell me they've got a better squad on paper than we have. They just bloody want it more.
Yeah, I think that's it though, isn't it? They do have a better squad because they want it more. Yeah. But
if you used to line up their FIFA cards.
Yeah.
But it's not, I mean, I think that's more down to the, and what we're saying about Mourinho. We've said it about Mourinho. He should be getting more out of the players that he's got. So as well as West Ham potentially wanting it more, I mean, they're on a good run, which breeds, confidence breeds a happy, like a happy cap, obviously.
Yeah.
But he's got, he's getting the best out of them, and he's got them playing to a system and maximising their strengths, really. And because of that, that's just leading to them showing more commitment and more work rate, and everything kind of falls into place. You kind of, that's that adage about earning your own luck. I mean, they've worked their asses off to get to where they are. They play some good football, actually. And they've got players that we would have turned down. If we'd been linked with some of those players,
like
what
Bowen.
Spurs
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think, but Bowen was kind of one that actually
people. Bowen.
I mean, Bowen was one that people were kind of saying, but people like Soufal and Souček, if we'd been sort of linked with those, people would be like, who the fuck are they? Don't want them. You know what I mean? So, he's gone in and he's made the best out of that.
Well, in the same way that we would have said we don't want some of the players that Leicester have got, or whatever they're called, because I can't remember.
Because guess what? Their recruitment policy is good.
Yeah, exactly.
And therein lies the problem.
That's right. I find that one of the most frustrating things at Spurs is our recruitment policy. I just think...
You say that, but we were all happy. Like in September, when we saw all the signings and they were all lined up and like it's like, okay, Højbjerg and...
Sorry, Steve. You can't use reason and logic on this part. I'm sorry.
Well, it's not even just that though. We sort of had a low starting grade to start with. We've had seasons upon seasons upon seasons of literally nothing to very, very poor squad additions. And suddenly we go out and we added some very, very good players to our squad this year, but it's papered over the cracks of the additions that we haven't done. The reason that I mean, I do kind of like him for all my sins, but the reason we still got Lamela knocking around the club because we haven't gone out and bought a player that improves us. Even having a player that's available for 38 games bloody improves Lamela, doesn't it? Because he's never available for 38.
No, but it was quite interesting what I heard about Lamela this week. I think it was Foyth, wasn't it? He said apparently that Lamela is always looking for a fight at the training ground, and on a couple of occasions asked him if he wanted to have a fight. Seriously.
Yeah. I love him for that reason.
Yeah, for that reason, I really like him.
I do like him, but there is, that's just a prime example of someone who's been in and around the squad for, what is it, 8 years, 9 years? I can't remember how long ago back Gareth Bale left, but fundamentally, yes, that's a position we could have always improved in all of that time. And guess what? We improved it by bringing back Gareth Bale. Well done, Livy.
Just reflecting back on what Sarah was saying there about West Ham, you think about it, right? There's an old saying, everyone knows attitude beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yep.
That's the manager's job, though, right?
It is.
He has to instill that attitude. And that seems to be a lot of what we're lacking. It can't be tactics, because tactics aren't that, they don't